What is up, guys, and welcome to week 2 of the MBL. I am T-Man. I'm joined by my lovely partner, Josh Lorcy.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy.
Yeah. So this weekend we are playing Team Disney. So Team We Disney had a really good win last week. I think they won 4-0 over Team Sub. So we're gonna have to play against them this weekend. Duncan and Shofu aren't the well-known battlers in this league, but I have seen Duncan and Shofu play in the past, and it's definitely not people that I want to underestimate at all. I know that last week, I know Duncan had some pretty crazy things on that team. I know they didn't bring the Poison EMZ on the Landorus, but if they did have that Z Crystal, would have been pretty interesting. I think that team was just chock full of surprises overall. So I think we're just going to start off by talking a little bit about Team We Disney, since it is such a threatening team.
Yeah, their team is Coco, the Lando I believe. Sorry, Tapu Bulu, Gyarados, Savali, Tornadus. Oh god, this Pokemon. Lantern?
Lantern, yeah.
Magmotar, Frostlass, and the Halucha. So this is a very hyper offensive. These are very hyper offensive mons, barring like the Lanu. Sorry, I said Lanu. Lantern, Lantern. I'm so sorry, Lantern, and I want to say the Magmotar. Is it crazy hyper? It wouldn't need like a Specs or a Life Orb something to make it like.
It's based like 125 special attack and fire type. It's gonna hit hard.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Pardon. Not too good with my Magmotar stats, but yeah, basically they have a really hyper offensive team, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on it, Tommy.
Yeah, specifically the Coco, the Landorus I, and the Tapu Bulu, both their A tier picks and their S tier picks can hit really hard just because of the terrain damage and the sheer force Life Orb boost in Landorus I. So they could hit really hard with both of those. The main thing I saw with their team is they're really not that bulky. They have the Lantern that has a lot of bulk on it. The Tapu Bulu can be kind of bulky. The Gyarados can kind of be bulky with Intimidate. And then Savali, but outside of that, like everything in this team doesn't really take hits terribly well.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Savali, base 95 across the boards, I believe, and yeah, their team doesn't look like they take hits very well. I think that the idea that you have for this week, we could definitely abuse that.
Yeah, so I think we're actually just gonna get right into the team now. And as you guys can see on screen, we are running Linoon, Blastoise, Darmanitan, Ninetales, Landorus, Venusaur, Metagross, and Hermosa. So we are leaving behind the Oricorio, and what else did we leave behind this week? It's our other our secret pick, Heliolisk.
Oricorio, and Heliolisk and Sensu. Sorry.
Yeah, Oricorio, Sensu, and Heliolisk are going to stay behind this week. And the main thing I realized is that we can kind of just like set up Linoon, and Linoon is essentially just on a zoom roll that's down here in C tier. It hits really hard with extreme speed once you get the belly drum up, and I think that we could potentially abuse Follow Me Blastoise and Linoon, and just get a very huge like swing of momentum early in the game. We can get extreme speed up early. So the Linoon is pretty standard. I think it's just extreme speed belly drum with Gunk Shot to hit the Tapu Bulu, since I was looking at their team trying to think what might be able to live a extreme speed, and the only thing that could really come off the top of my head was the Tapu Bulu, with the exception of a resisted type from Savali. I really don't know what type it's going to be. I think they're going to try and maybe resist fire typing, would be a possible Savali type, but I'm not exactly sure which type it would be, since something like water is kind of hard to bring to this matchup, just because the water types of Savali would really do too much damage. So yeah, there's nothing too much else of the Linoon outspeeds their Bulu if they want to go like max speed Adamant Bulu, but otherwise it's just pretty standard. Just gonna go for extreme speed. The Blastoise is pretty cool. We're running Walk-On Berry, Follow Me Blastoise this week, and last week we ran the offensive Blastoise, but this week since
Linoon here is
yeah. And with Tapu Koko being on the opposing side of the field, I think it's a lot harder to run something on offensive Blastoise. And getting the Walk-On Berry assures that we should be able to get Linoon set up on turn 1, since they shouldn't have any spread moves besides maybe like a attacks from the Gleam or discharge from the Coco. So just being able to deal with the Tapu Koko right away, or at least having a way to get up Belly Drum even if the Tapu Koko's on the field, I think is pretty important. So the Walk-On Berry should help out a little bit there. And I think our combination of Limit and Blastoise should probably be doing a lot of work.
The thing I like about Blastoise is that we could use it as, you know, an offensive mon and sometimes as a support. And I think like when we you know, drafted this mon, like I didn't really have much like thoughts about it as soon as we drafted it because I really didn't see it in action. But like now looking at like, you know, the ideas that you've made and the things that we can incorporate with our teams, I think that Blastoise is probably like the MVP of our team, allowing us to either go like, you know, offensive with like a Wartarium Z, and still go with like the fake out follow me stuff. And you know, I really do love the pick on Blastoise this week, especially against their team.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of our stronger mons, especially getting the value of a C-tier Pokemon being able to do so much for us every week.
Yeah.
Going down to the rest of the team, you will see that we are running Ghost DMZ Ninetales. So if you guys don't know what that does, if you're familiar with what Z Destiny Bond does, it redirects all attacks into the thing that's using Z Destiny Bond. So Z Grudges actually works the same exact way. You're able to redirect all attacks into Ninetales. The only caveat has to be that they have to go after the Ninetales. So things like their Tapu Koko, their Tornadus, and their Landorus will probably outspeed Ninetales and be able to you know, ignore the Z Grudge. But anything slower than Ninetales is going to have to hit into the Ninetales before it hits our Lanoon. So it just gives us backup strategies to kind of keep Lanoon on the field for a longer period of time, which is pretty strong. But the other main thing that it does is it gives us that drought ability so that we can kind of just click Flare Blitz and delete things from the board.
Our boy Damage 2.0.
Yeah.
No shots though, no shots.
Yeah.
But did we speak about Darmanitan as much?
No, not really.
There's really not much to speak about anyways. Damage is just damage basically. So Tommy incorporated a moveset with Flare Blitz, U-Turn, Rock Slide, and Fling. The idea of Fling, we actually talked about it. There was actually no better move to fit on that slot. So like if we ever decided like we switched in Darmanitan and, you know, Fling was like an appropriate time to use it, we'd probably just use it. Like we're probably gonna click the other three moves more often than, you know, the last slot. So it's just there for just being there, just in case.
Yeah, like honestly, I think the only situation where we might like even be able to use Fling is like if we send out Darmanitan, or we maybe like pick like a protector on some slot, and then maybe we can either Fling the other slot or even ourselves, because Fling's not going to do any damage off the choice scarf. I think it's like probably 20 base power. So being able to just change up the move slot if we need to in like a really like desperate pinch is pretty cool. But ideally, if Darmanitan is doing what Darmanitan wants to do, it'll only click Flare Blitz this battle.
Yeah, indeed. And we have the Landorus,
yes.
Our boy #real logo. It's the same set as last week, I believe, with the AV.
It's
but just different, a different move set and a different spread, correct?
Yeah, it's the same item for sure. It's definitely not the same set though. We got the special Landorus this week.
Yeah.
And the big thing here is that they could potentially bring Tapu Bulu, and they might, seeing that we do have Landorus, since they might be afraid of you know, the Earthquake pressure from Landorus. So being able to bring in Tapu Bulu to stop Earthquake from doing that much damage would be kind of annoying. So we can go with Earth Power Set, which off of 105 base special attack still hits really hard. It'll still KO a lot of things in their team, like the Tapu Koko, which is really important. It'll give us a way to KO the Tapu Bulu with Sludge Bomb, which is pretty cool. We also just do really big damage to things like their Magmortar, their Lantern, so it's just a pretty versatile set overall. We do have Rock Tomb, it's just like an added form of speed control. We can always Rock Tomb the Tornadus and then just go into HP Ice from there. But like just being able to have an extra form of speed control, we'll also have this special Landorus, which should hit a lot of their team hard. I know I've been talking about this set with Josh since we drafted them on way back in like the beginning of the stages of the draft, like 3 rounds in. Like, Josh, as soon as we play We Disney, we're bringing this special Landorus, because like it just beats up on the Tapu so hard.
This is so true, Tommy. As soon as we drafted, he's like, "Yo, Lando is the MVP against their team," and hopefully it does come through. I mean, I do think that the AV set that you incorporated is ideal for the matchup, and Landorus is also like just really good in general against their team, barring like Gyarados. I mean, we're faster than Bulu, unless they choice scarf and the opposing Landers and the Coco. So those are like the real most important mons on their team, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
we
Landers
should
pretty much covers that pretty much well.
yeah, and we should be able to take hits from most of those mons you listed off too. Since we'd be intimidated if it's like a choice scarf, it wouldn't be a boosting item then. So I'd be able to take a hit there, and the assault vest will help us take hits from the opposing Landers Eye and the Tapu Koko. So you know, the real logo might come through in this matchup. I think it might be pretty strong. Next we have the Venusaur. It's pretty much the same set as last week, so that we don't have Grass Pledge, we have Giga Drain instead. This could probably help us out if we run into like an end game where there's a Gyarados on the field, since we'll be able to get a little bit of health back. I know we were going back and forth between whether or not we wanted to run Sleep Powder, whether we wanted to run Leech Seed or Synthesis, and I think that Josh was kind of like leaning towards Sleep Powder just because it can win us games that maybe we fall behind in, and I agree with that 100%. And another thing about their team is even though they have Tapu Koko with the Electric Terrain, and they have the Tapu Bulu, which can like just doesn't get hit by Sleep Powder, they do have a bunch of flying types that aren't going to be affected by Electric Terrain, like the Gyarados, the Landorus Eye, and the Tornadus. So all those things are things that we can Sleep Powder regardless of terrain. So I do think it's still an okay thing to bring the Venusaur here and have Sleep Powder on. I think it's probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah, last week it wasn't, too good, but it was, if it hit, like, we were definitely in a better position. But, unfortunately, Sleep Powder didn't hit twice because my Venusaur is dumb. But it's cool, though. I mean, it's just a situational thing again. Like, if we hit it, it puts us way ahead. If we don't, I think we'll also be fine. We just need to play well.
Yeah, it just depends on like when we hit it in the game. If we hit it while we're ahead, we should just win. If we miss it while we're losing, we're just gonna lose anyways. In the middle of those games, though, like in like an iffy game that either side can win, missing a Sleep Powder shouldn't mean too much. It's just gonna be when if we need to hit it, then we're gonna need to hit it. But other situations we should be fine. The only other thing that really changed in the Venusaur is the spread's very, very different this week. We actually have we have a lot more special defense this week, whereas last week we were running a mostly offensive Venusaur. And that's just because Sludge Bomb hits a lot of things in the team already for like huge damage, and like we're still able to KO the Tapu Koko and the Tapu Bulu with minimal investment on the Venusaur. So running more special defense to live things like Psychic from the Lander's Eye, making sure that we're not taking any damage from the Tapu Koko or the Tapu Bulu is pretty good. And then the last two mons are kind of just our situational picks, and I think we'll go into team preview and see what mons they brought, and then we'll decide on whether or not we're going to bring Landorus or Metagross and Pheromosa, but we will talk about that a little bit right now.
Yeah, with the Metagross, we are running the Psyche Z with a pretty standard Metagross moveset with Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, and Bullet Punch. Tommy, could you let them know exactly what? I know that spread was something you were talking about. It
was Gyarados Tectonic Rage, because I thought that Tech Rage would be a very viable item in the Gyarados this week, just because we have Ninetales, and I don't think they want to bring Watorium Z in the sun. Whereas they could bring Tech Rage, they KO the Darmanitan, the Ninetales, the Metagross in a lot of situations. So I thought that might be a bit of a reason to run that over Watorium. They still might run Watorium just because we do have we have two fire types and we have Landorus, so definitely a possibility. But just in case they are running Tech Rage, we will live that with Metagross, and I think that's kind of like a fringe thing to count for. I don't expect to see it, but it definitely could be a thing that we could see, and being able to Psyche Z the Gyarados if we have to, I think is a really, really big thing, because I think the Gyarados is one of the harder things for us to deal with. Yes. And if we're able to just remove that right away, then I'd be happy with having that really weird fringe calc that in the off chance they do run Tech Rage, we do live it and we're able to KO back. So just a lot of options there with that. And then the Pheromosa. which is kind of yeah.
So yeah, you guys already see the Pheromosa is carrying a special set with the Ice Beam, Poison Jab, Protect, and Hidden Power Electric. There's basically no reason why we should run a fighting move on Pheromosa this week, because looking at their team,
Yeah, I want to bring
I
that
don't
up.
think fighting moves are gonna do so well in the matchups. And Tommy said that Hidden Power Electric made the most sense because we basically have like nothing to really. We do have things to deal with Gyarados, but like this is just like assurance, if anything.
Yeah, we can hit everything else on their team besides the Gyarados with the Pheromosa moveset, like Coco, Bulu, everything on the team gets hit by something on the Pheromosa. Ice Beam does a lot to their team, so having Ice Beam on the Pheromosa max special attack is pretty good. Poison Jab should be able to do decent damage to the Bulu and the Coco, so getting the damage there is pretty important. And then, like I said, the Hidden Power Electric is just huge. We're able to KO like no bulk Gyarados with HP Electric most of the time. I do expect them to have bulk based off of what I've seen Duncan run in the past, based off the Teambuilder from last week, and then from other things I've seen in the past. So I'm expecting to see a little bit of bulk on the Gyarados here. And if they do have bulk on the Gyarados, one thing we can abuse potentially is they have Tapu Koko. So if they do set the electric terrain for us, we might be able to just HP Electric the Gyarados in electric terrain and definitely pick up a knockout, regardless of how much bulk they have on the Gyarados. So, like I said, I don't expect to bring Pheromosa or Metagross. I think we're pretty set in our game plan, but depending on what we might see, we might be able to bring the Pheromosa. If we see stuff like the Hawlucha and the Frostlass over some of the bigger threats that we're worried about, like the Coco, the Landorus, the Bulu, the Gyarados. Yeah, like
I think we're mostly scared of literally the first four Mons on their team, like
yeah.
Coco, Lando, Bulu, and Gyarados. Those are and Tornadus as well. Like those, like five are pretty scary.
Yeah.
So if we don't see like two of those Mons or one, like less fear, and probably better for us in the end.
Yeah. In the end, we're just gonna try and run over them with Darmanitan, with the Flare Blitz and the Sun, and then we're also gonna try and do Linen stuff with Extreme Speed and Belly Drum. And if those things work out, then we should be in a really good spot. If not, hopefully Landorus and Venusaur just being able to resist a lot of hits from the opposing team and then deal like big damage back, since they have a lot of stacked up weaknesses. This is the big thing that we're gonna capitalize on here this week. So. I'm feeling pretty confident in our game plan. I think we have a really good shot to beat them this week, and hopefully pass them on the power rankings this week. I forget who it was. I think it was Tailwind had him above us, and I can't stand for that. We gotta
stop sleeping on us. We're going to take this. I'm so sorry. Just spam hashtag Team Drinking Birds in the comment section below, because you guys know that we're going to win and we're going to take this chip. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm being so modest lately. We're doing this. We're doing this.
You know it's serious when Josh Lorcy, King of Modesty, is like coming out here just like ripping the name. So, all right. I think that's it from us this week, guys. Be looking for the battle this week. That will be on Josh's channel, so I'll have a link in the description to that below. I've been T-Man, and thank you very much, guys. Anything else to say, Josh?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.